In a nation known for meat pies, sausage rolls, and weekend barbecues, pizza wasn't supposed to win. It was the foreign import, the casual Friday night fallback, a backup plan when someone forgot to buy charcoal. But not only did pizza win, it dominated. And not all pizzas were created equal. In the war for fast, cheap, delivery-first pizza, one unlikely contender pulled ahead. Domino's didn't just beat the competition, it rewrote the rules, built a tech-driven empire on top of melted cheese and data models, and left Pizza Hut stranded in a past where salad bars were still a draw. This is the story of how Domino's quietly conquered Australia, transformed a humble delivery chain into a logistical powerhouse, and turned the simple act of ordering pizza into a masterclass in business strategy, one GPS-tracked crust at a time. Let's rewind to the early 2000s, a simpler time when ordering pizza still meant finding a paper menu, calling a landline, and hoping someone wrote your address down correctly. At that point, Domino's Australia was a modest player, with fewer than 200 stores nationwide. The real heavyweight? Pizza Hut, bolstered by decades of brand recognition, a massive dine-in footprint, and what can only be described as Australia's strangely persistent affection for buffet-style dining and bottomless dessert. But the winds were shifting. In 2001, a former delivery driver named Meij rose through the ranks to take the top job at Domino's. Unlike the typical CEO, Meij didn't enter through the boardroom. He came through the back door, literally. He'd spent years navigating late-night deliveries, irate customers, and leaking garlic butter containers. In other words, he understood the frontline pain points most executives only read about in PowerPoint decks. He made it his mission to eliminate the inefficiencies baked into the system: slow delivery times, clunky processes, and operational inconsistencies across stores. From delivery boy to IPO, it was either a Cinderella story or a case study in knowing where the potholes are makes you a better driver. The underdog was now a listed company, and with that listing came capital, expansion, and the beginning of a very long, very calculated checkmate. Domino's made one crucial decision. It wouldn't win with better cheese, it would win with better tech. Between 2007 and 2020, Domino's launched an avalanche of innovations. That includes online ordering before most competitors had figured out mobile web, along with GPS pizza tracking, because nothing says modern romance like watching your pizza move down the street in real time. They also had voice assistants, drone trials, AI for delivery forecasting, and a loyalty system so gamified it made Candy Crush look restrained. Meanwhile, Pizza Hut was still figuring out how to take phone orders without losing your address. The contrast wasn't subtle. By 2015, Domino's had over 600 stores in Australia and New Zealand and was opening a new one approximately every 4 days. Growth wasn't organic. It was caffeinated. Meij wasn't running a fast food chain. He was running a logistics company that happened to sell circular food. According to the Australian Marketing Institute, Domino's embedded data into every layer of decision-making. Store locations, menu tweaks, staffing algorithms, delivery times, all backed by analytics. Even marketing was optimized. Remember the Pizza Mogul campaign? It let customers design their own pizzas and earn real money from sales. A brilliant combination of crowdsourcing meets capitalism. You want to sell overpriced jalapeno, pineapple, and feta? Go for it. If it bombs, it's your fault. If it works, it's your idea. Absolute genius. By comparison, Pizza Hut's strategy can best be described as sluggish nostalgia. It still relied heavily on dine-in restaurants long after Australians decided that sitting in a windowless booth under fluorescent lighting was no longer peak dining. To make matters worse, its 2023 comeback campaign, which promised faster delivery, better prices, and modern digital ordering, sounded exciting, if it was still 2011. According to news.com.au, Pizza Hut has been on the comeback trail for over a decade. At some point, it's no longer a comeback, it's a scavenger hunt. By 2023, Domino's was doing nearly 3 times the sales volume of Pizza Hut in Australia, with over 720 stores, compared to Pizza Hut's estimated 250. You do the math. Or maybe don't. It's kind of depressing. Now, you know what's especially wild? Domino's Australia didn't just win locally, it started exporting its entire playbook to other Domino's markets. Domino's ANZ became the backbone of Domino's Pizza Enterprises, which now oversees operations in 9 countries, from Japan to Germany to France. At one point, Domino's Australia was outperforming its US counterpart on nearly every metric. Don Meij was now the guy in global pizza franchising, a delivery driver turned international tech food mogul. It's the kind of origin story that's somehow inspiring and oddly specific. But even the most efficient empires eventually hit turbulence. In late 2024, Don Meij, the man who turned Domino's from a second-tier franchise into a multinational powerhouse, announced he was stepping down after 22 years at the helm. The market reaction was immediate and brutal. Shares of Domino's Pizza Enterprises fell by over 30% overnight, wiping out hundreds of millions in value. Investors weren't just losing a CEO, they were losing the architect of the entire playbook. Some analysts pointed to rising input costs, thinning margins, and a plateau in international growth. Others suggested the company's aggressive expansion, especially in markets like Japan and Germany, had finally outpaced its infrastructure. And then there were those who simply couldn't cope with the fact that they could no longer track their pizza faster than they could track their portfolio. But let's be honest, stepping down after building a billion-dollar tech food empire isn't failure. It's either a well-timed succession or the logical conclusion of 2 decades spent optimizing dough and data. Either way, it's still a better outcome than closing up a store at 1 a.m. on a Tuesday, hoping your delivery scooter still has battery. Now, here's the truth. Domino's didn't win because its pizza was better. It won because it built a system that made quality almost irrelevant. While Pizza Hut doubled down on flavor innovation and nostalgic brand campaigns, Domino's was busy reverse engineering what customers actually valued: speed, consistency, and control. Not gourmet toppings, but the assurance that your food would arrive in 22 minutes with a live map and a notification when it hits your doorstep. It wasn't about being the best pizza, it was about being the most reliable experience. Domino's figured out that in the age of Uber and Amazon, convenience is the product. So while Pizza Hut saw itself in the food business, Domino's quietly positioned itself in the platform business. It became a tech-driven logistics company that happened to sell circular bread with stuff on it. The result? A scalable, data-powered machine that could grow faster, adapt quicker, and serve more customers with fewer errors, all while maintaining a brand image that felt modern, even if the pizza never really changed. And it was all led by a former delivery guy who understood something that legacy executives missed. The real disruption wasn't in the dough, it was in the delivery. Now, if this deep dive hit the spot, go ahead and like the video, subscribe for more strategic breakdowns, and drop a comment. Is Pizza Hut still hanging on in your area, or has Domino's quietly taken the throne? And remember, in business, speed kills, unless you're the one holding the pizza box. Oh, and before I forget, make sure to ring the notification bell so you won't miss an upload, and as always, stay curious.